What is going on, everyone? For 3 days this week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, that's August 13th, 14th, and 15th, I will be covering for the Mike Gill Show 2 to 6 on 97.3 ESPN with Josh Hennig and Dashawn Hendricks. I decided that I am going to make a best of version of each day and put it up on my podcast and YouTube. So I hope you enjoy. Thank you guys so much for listening.
The press release then goes on to make a bunch of blah, blah, blah about Manuel's history that we already know.
So this is where this is what it's come down to. That the Philadelphia Phillies have become so embarrassing, so disappointing, so irrelevant that we're hiring our former World Series winning manager to be our hitting coach,
Who was a special advisor previously to the GM.
So in 20 years, when the Eagles become just rubbish, we're going to hire Doug Peterson to be the quarterback's coach again and try to get some type of play. This is ridiculous. This is embarrassing. And this is another sorry excuse for a Band-Aid to put over a wound that's needed stitches for months now. I mean, this is embarrassing.
I like it, though. It is embarrassing. Like, I do agree with you that we're even in this spot. But at the end of the day, John Mallee was bad. And you can tell that when everyone comes to Philadelphia and then leaves and becomes better, that there is a problem with the way that we are approaching the plate. So there was an issue with the way we attacked the plate. So it is embarrassing that we are here because I'm disgusted just like anyone else. But at the end of the day, it's not about Charlie's approach to hitting. It's more about moving on from John Mallee.
Hunter Brody, let me ask you a question. Is Charlie Manuel going to start every fifth day for this franchise?
No.
Can he pitch?
No.
Is he going to be able to teach pitching to Jake Arrieta? He's going to allow Jake Arrieta to turn back the clock?
No, that's not about this isn't about what Charlie Manuel is going to do.
Yeah, my point is that this club's biggest weakness this year has been pitching.
Yeah, that's GM
pitching
stuff.
This is I was promised that this would be the year that you would see winning Phillies baseball again. And it was the biggest I gotcha. It was worse than the Los Angeles Lakers thinking they were going to get Kawhi Leonard.
I would clear house. It won't happen, but I would clear house. There's a problem from top to bottom. This is one of those problems, but we're not going to clear house because we gave Andy McPhail and Matt Klentak the extension without anybody knowing. So we're not actually which is another joke. Another joke.
First of all, the three of us didn't give them the contract. The owner of the Phillies gave them the contract. Let's get it clear. The three of us weren't out there approving 100% of Klentak and McPhail.
Correct.
This is embarrassing. Remember what we did a couple weeks ago when we did the hierarchy in Philadelphia? The Phillies are in danger of being behind the Soul, the Flyers,
we're doing this again.
the Kicks. Like, this is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. I cannot believe that every single time that the Phillies bring me back in this year, the 3 games out of the wild card, it's not like that they're mathematically eliminated.
No, they're not.
So technically, as a fan, I'm supposed to be still invested into the product. But every time I watch it, food from yesterday starts to come up into my stomach through my throat, and I regurgitate every single night. Every single night.
I do the same thing. I'm laughing over here because I do the same exact thing.
This is ridiculous. Josh?
Look, here's the problem. Bringing back Charlie Manuel is not fixing this team.
Correct.
This is a cosmetic move, not a logistical move.
Were they trying to sell tickets?
No, they're trying to appease a fan base that, for all intents and purposes, is very frustrated with this team, and they think the token Charlie Manuel walking out there is going to solve anything, which it's not.
But it is the right move, though, because John Mallee was garbage at his job.
Yeah, but here's the problem. Does firing a hitting coach in season really matter that much?
No, but yes.
When you stink,
Which
it's
one?
something.
Hold on. What do you mean no, but
like
yes?
Charlie Manuel coming in here isn't going to change what they do with the snap of their fingers. But getting rid of John Mallee and the way that he has attacked the plate from an organizational standpoint, it was so bad it had to have been changed. It had to be changed.
Did you guys see what Ryan Rothstein tweeted 2 hours ago?
Hit us.
It was hilarious. Per source, and obviously this isn't true. He's just
Trolling.
Kicks and giggles.
Yeah.
Per source, Phillies just added numerous names to made-up positions. Pat Croce is director of PR stunts. Allen Iverson is head of practice operations. Buddy Ryan's hologram is defensive shift coach.
That's amazing.
The Phillies have made numerous moves. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. When that happens, you know that you are the laughingstock of the city. This is embarrassing.
Look, the Phillies organization is throwing darts at a target, and they're blindfolded. I'm telling you. They're just hoping things hit the bullseye at this point. I was saying this on my show on Saturday. Sports Bash Saturday, every Saturday, 12 to 2 on 97.3 ESPN. This organization is good at one thing, and one thing alone, being inconsistent.
I was about to say opening day. I mean, opening day, I'm excited. There's a lot of possibilities.
No, they are good at one thing. They're good at being inconsistent. The front office can't speak consistently. The manager can't manage consistently. The pitching staff can't pitch consistently. Heck, Jake Arrieta is supposed to be meeting with the Phillies organization today to discuss if he's going to continue pitching this year.
It's all. What? When did this report come out?
Yesterday.
Today is August 13th.
Yes.
You have a month and 2 weeks left of the season, and you're discussing if you're pitching the rest of the season?
Well, he's wondering about the bone spurs in his elbow.
You know what? It's been so bad. You know they had the 2009 team?
Oh,
little
yeah.
reunion. What was it, last weekend or something
Yeah,
like that?
last weekend, or weekend before, whatever it was.
I bet you that had more views than probably the last 10 Phillies games. Just watching a bunch of old men who went to the World Series. Didn't even win it. They just went to the World Series and just showed up at Citizens Bank Park and hugged each other. Shane Victorino, Jimmy Rollins just hugging each other. That was more entertaining than the last 10 Phillies games. And yes, that includes the 3-run home run by Bryce Harper that made me believe that we had a chance this year.
For 5 hot seconds, right?
I've had enough.
You believed for 5 hot seconds.
No, I believed for a whole 24 hours because they didn't play again until the next day.
Jeez.
See, I'm surprised that you guys aren't a big fan of the move because I do know that the move was made because we are at rock bottom right now. But still, I don't know if you guys understand how bad John Mallee is.
It doesn't matter, though. This is a cosmetic move.
But he's so bad. We had to get rid of him, and we got rid of someone who's part of the problem.
Are we really sure that he was the problem?
There are numbers and statistics that will tell you that his batting approach is
You
poor.
can find stats for any argument.
But I don't like that argument fully. Because you say that about a lot of statistics.
Well, I do say a lot of things, because here's the problem. The Philadelphia Phillies, we want to point to one guy. Everybody wants a scapegoat. As Jason, to paraphrase Jason Kelsey, it's the whole organization.
Right, but this is
it's
part
not
of it.
Mallee. It's Clintack. It's McPhail. It's the coaching staff. It's the players.
And it's Mallee.
And
he's part of it.
Fan base that's letting them
Whoa. I will not let you do that. No. I will not let you do that and blame a fan base who has watched a terrible product for years and this year was told that this would be you signed Bryce Harper to a big contract. You tell everybody Aaron Nola's on the come up. Jake Arrieta is supposed to be perfectly healthy now. Reese Hoskins is taking the next step. Don't you dare blame this fan base.
I think this fan base is pissed off as they should be.
Yeah,
Like,
they're not pissed off enough because they're still showing up to games.
But that's because it's like a family thing. Like if someone bought
I'll
tickets
still take my
3
kids
months
to the Phillies game, even though I'm going to watch slop.
Exactly.
I'll still take them to the game. It's a
Your
fun
kids
experience.
will enjoy a day at the Ocean City Boardwalk more than a Phillies game.
No, my kids will enjoy saying they were at the Phillies game and they seen the Fanatic rather than see Bryce Harper strike out 4 times. That's what they'll enjoy.
Fanatic was down the shore last weekend.
Like I
You
don't
could have
think
gone and seen him then.
I don't think diehard fans are going to the ballpark every night pumped about the game as if they're still supporting
Frankly,
the team.
I don't think that the people who are going to the game are even watching at halftime.
Right, that's my point. It's more of like a family event. The fan base is clearly disturbed with what they've been seeing to the point where we're doing as much as we possibly can. We rant about this team every single day at this point. I'm exhausted by it, but it's the hottest thing to talk about because it's a disgrace.
You want to know how bad you want to know how bad it was? The other night the Phillies were on live. And I was rewatching the Eagles versus the Titans preseason game. I already knew the result, and I already knew how bad, and Nate Sudfeld got hurt and all that, and I was rewatching the game. That's how much time I had on my hands.
Look, the best part of Sunday night was not the game. A-Rod was incredible on Sunday night.
Oh, I watched SummerSlam rather than watch the Phillies on Sunday night.
You missed A-Rod. Look, he was not held back by anybody else in the booth because I hate the 3-man booth. Like the stupidest thing in the world. Let's put 3 people in a booth and they talk over each other. A-Rod shined. He ripped Kapler. He made fun of other people. He told stories about Lou Piniella. He told Matt Vasgersian he was a homer. A-Rod was in prime form, and I was there for every second of it. I was not there for the Phillies game. I was there for A-Rod.
The Phillies are so bad that the last man that stopped us from winning the World Championship was talking, not playing, talking on live television. And this man, that's the only thing that this man can remember.
And he was great.
The one of the most embarrassing things about the steroid era is Alex Rodriguez, and we're talking about him talking and not the Phillies playing. It's embarrassing.
And Canseco was more embarrassing than A-Rod.
Well, it's funny that every time A-Rod says something else, we say, shut up. Like, really, A-Rod, what are you talking about? He rips Gabe Kapler. We all agree, and he's the smartest man in the world.
Who's better, Alex Rodriguez or Tony Romo?
I would argue A-Rod, yes. A-Rod may be a better analyst than he was a player.
So who's better, Romo or Rodriguez?
In the booth?
Romo's better.
Romo is A+.
Romo's on, like...
The first thing that I can say Romo was A+ at.
Romo was on, like, Madden expert level. Kind of like level as a commentator.
Yeah, he calls the play 2 plays before it's going to happen.
Well, that doesn't impress me so much. I just love that he has a feel for the game that I enjoy. Like, I love hearing him talk football. I don't know about all that play, that Gemini, whatever you want to call it. I'm not really into that. Well, by the way, I'm not really a fan of Alex Rodriguez in the booth either.
I agree. I'm not as big as Josh is over there.
I look.
But when you're watching Phillies baseball, anything can happen.
By the way, text board is open at 609-403-0970. We'll get to your text messages in just a minute. Hunter, back to what you were saying about Charlie Manuel, though.
Yes.
And the Phillies firing the hitting coach.
Yes.
Now, Dashawn, don't say anything. Because I know what you're going to say, D. So don't say anything. All right? Hunter.
Yes.
For all intents and purposes, are you more likely now to watch the Phillies now that they fired the hitting coach?
No, but I think this was the right move. I'm going to watch them regardless because I've been watching them through this hell since it started. So I'm going to watch it regardless. It doesn't really matter to me. But when you look at it, and I do agree with you that the entire organization is to blame. But with that being said, John Mallee is part of the organization. Therefore, him getting fired makes sense because he is part of the problem, along with Klentak, along with McPhail, along with Gabe Kapler, along with some of the players underperforming.
Now, Dashawn, I turn to you. I want to ask you a question I asked on Saturday because I think this is the perfect opportunity to bring this up again. Do you have any faith and confidence that this Phillies organization, not just Kapler or one person, can get any better this offseason as judgers of talent, building the roster, etc.?
No. If you want to be very blunt with you, no. I don't have any confidence this organization can do anything right. Nothing has told me the last 5 to 10 years that this organization can get anything right. This organization told me that Dominic Brown was going to lead us to the next era.
I remember that.
Dominic Brown. Where's Dominic Brown playing currently, Josh?
Not.
Who knows?
I think I think he might be in the Rockies minor leagues. Let me double check.
Please, because I have no faith in this organization whatsoever. It's been so bad with the Philadelphia Phillies that you say that you're gonna start watching them like late August and September, and hopefully they're in first place again, and then keep reminding yourself that ain't happened in God knows how long. Like, I have rewatched Phillies highlights from 2007 when they made that magical run. For 6 years, it's getting too embarrassing to think about the Phillies. It hurts so much because I've had so much promise for this ball club that every time we talk Phillies, I try to remind myself that they've won a championship in the year of the 2000s. Like, that's how embarrassing it's been. I look forward to Hunter's post game reaction more than I look forward to the actual game.
And his post-game reaction is on at 97.3 ESPN.com and the 97.3 ESPN mobile app.
Love that. I appreciate that. But I'm impressed with you that you're still believing. I don't know if you're believing. That might not be the right word.
He's not believing.
But he's way more hopeful than anyone ever should be, and I'm impressed with that. I think they're going, it's not the extreme nosedive that we saw last year, but we are going to continuously lose 2 of 3, and by the end of the season, we're going to be 8, 9, 10 games back. It's not going to be an extreme dive, but we are slowly just going to keep losing.
By the way, you asked where Dominic Brown is.
Where is he? Home?
Dominic Brown is currently playing, not in Japan, not in Korea, the Mexican League.
The Mexican League.
He is at the AAA level of the Mexican League. The Tecolotes de los Dos Laredos.
How are they doing?
They are 56-49 on the season.
And what is his batting? What is he batting?
He has the second most home runs on the team at 23, 297 batting average. So he's
basically
So
dominating.
he's basically in the fourth or fifth best league on the planet, and he's good against those guys.
This is embarrassing. This is embarrassing. This is.
I mean,
this
you
is
did ask
embarrassing.
where he was, so I did a little research.
Oh, this is embarrassing.
You're welcome.
And I want to piggyback on what
You all
Hunter
needed
just
that
said.
in your life, I know.
I wanted to piggyback what Hunter just said because that's a valid point. Do we feel like they can still make a run because of the talent that they still have? I feel like that last year you knew they didn't have any talent, so you were just waiting for the fall. Like you were just waiting for. It's like the cartoon, the Looney Tunes cartoon, where the road runner would always run, and you were just waiting for the coyote to not be able to catch him. Like that was last year. You were just waiting for them to fall. This year, you're hoping that they would get out of it because you got Bryce Harper. Aaron Nola is still an all-star caliber pitcher. Jake Arrieta is decent enough to where he can give you some innings. You got some young people in the bullpen. You got Rhys Hoskins. I mean, are you just waiting for them to just put together an 8 out of 10 or something, steal a wild card? Listen, I'm more comfortable with them getting the second wild card and then getting destroyed by the Dodgers than watching them miss the playoffs again and then be told in the offseason when you make a couple moves and sign whoever that everything's going to be okay. Like, I'm not believing that no more. That's not something that I'm looking forward to.
It might be a blessing in disguise, though, if we don't make we don't make the playoffs. Because
I agree with that.
Yeah, because I do want to make the playoffs, and I do want to get smacked by the Dodgers if that's what happens.
Oh, I'm signing up for that.
But if we lose,
Actually, be better if we get smacked by the Mets in the one-game playoff.
Oh, no, that would be horrible.
Smacked by the Mets.
The way
I
they're
expect
playing
them to
right
beat
now.
the Mets. The Dodgers, we have no shot. But the Mets, no, don't wish that
No,
upon
because
me.
here's the thing, and I'm with Hunter. I believe that when teams make the playoffs when they shouldn't, organizations use that as an excuse to not better their team.
Well, what other excuse do they
They
need?
become complacent, they become laissez-faire, they become mediocre-minded, and they don't do anything. Because right now, this team is on track that their big offseason addition is going to be Cole Hamels, and that's not good enough.
It's not good. I love me some Cole Hamels, by the way. But you
I
just
love Cole Hamels too, but he's
you
not
just
it.
described the Phillies.
He's not
everything you
fixing all
just
their
said.
problems.
It's the Phillies now. It's the Phillies now. They're complacent. They're lazy. They stink. All of that. That's them now. So what's going to change in the offseason?
It's unbelievable that we didn't get Dallas Keuchel because we didn't think he was going to be better than what we had, yet we get Drew Smyly and Jason Vargas. And Drew Smyly's coming back to life.
Ish.
Ish, yeah. Drew Smyly, Jason Vargas. Those were our moves.
Jason Vargas.
I told you before, this was my worry. This was my concern 2 months ago. When I was at Vinny Curry's camp, and D, you were there, and Hunter, you were on here in the studio. I was saying, my concern is last year, the Phillies' big pitching acquisition was Aaron Loop.
Aaron Loop.
That was your big acquisition last year.
Drew Smyly and Jason Vargas.
Asdrubal Cabrera was a nice piece.
I said pitching.
Pitching acquisition.
Drew Smyly and Jason Vargas.
This organization has a
This
penchant
organization has been nothing
for not getting pitchers. Aaron Loop. By the way, we got texts coming in.
Why not sign Randy Wolf?
Randy Wolf.
I don't know if Randy Wolf can throw anymore. Last time I heard his arm is dead.
Lieber. Remember Lieber?
I think you're better off with Brett Myers coming back.
We wanted to bring everybody back. Why don't we bring the whole 2009 squad? It can't get any worse.
609-403-0997. We got some texts coming in. We got Croce chiming in. Says, I'm pretty sure the Phillies are behind the Flyers. At least hockey games are fun to go to. Croce goes on to say, on a real Phillies note, how do you guys feel about Gabe Kapler is going to react to Charlie Manuel being in the house again?
Well, he's going to be positive.
Oh, Kapler's positive about everything.
Yeah, they're resilient.
Has Kapler ever complained about anything except for people criticizing him? Exactly. You just answered the question right there.
I'm over Gabe Kapler. Like I'm one of those guys. I'm just over it. Like he's the Chip Kelly now. It's like in 2015 when I was just over Chip Kelly. Like it was a shiny new guy. He's gonna rejuvenate baseball. Like Kelly was supposed to rejuvenate football. He's got his own guys now. I'm tired of being sold an empty bill of goods. I'm tired of it.
609-403-0973. Dan from Tuckerton says this year for the Phillies is over. If they are able to keep 80% of their offense and manage to get 2 legit starters next year, they have a chance to maybe compete for the division. By the way, Dan goes on to say,
Compete for the division.
A-Rod's color commentary analysis is great. You're right, Josh. It makes him likable enough to maybe get voted into the Hall of Fame one day.
No. Let's slow down. We're not going to be fooled here. I mean, listen, it's okay. I'm not really a big fan of it, but I'm not going to say it's bad. I'm not saying that he should be voted into the Hall of Fame. We're not going to forget that the man had a whole scandal and things like that.
Look, here's the thing. Can I just say this real quick?
Of course.
I don't care about
The scandal.
the scandals, and here's why. The Baseball Hall of Fame has wife beaters, racists, KKK members, guys who manipulated and doctored balls illegally for 2 decades. There are all kinds of cheats and scumbags in Hall of Fames. It's not the Hall of Morality. Are you a great player or not?
Was he a great player? Yes, he was a great player. Listen, I'm not opposed to him getting a Hall. I'm not one of those guys that big bad get off my lawn types that say you can't let A-Rod into the Hall of Fame. This is our grandfather's Hall of Fame. No, I'm not one of those guys. I'm just not a guy that is going to beat down the door for him to get in.
I will beat down the door for anybody who deserves to be there. I don't care because you know what? I'm not judging you on your morality. I'm judging you as a ball player.
Okay.
Hunter,
are you
thoughts?
opposed to Barry Bonds?
I'm like
I'm all for
combined.
Bonds.
Yeah, I'm combined with both of you guys a little bit. Like I understand, I'm not beating the door down either for him to get in. But when you take a look at the game during his era, Alex Rodriguez was a name that everybody knew
You
about.
can't
Like, he's
tell the
biggest
history of the
name.
game without A-Rod.
Is that
Correct.
because he played for the Yankees, though?
No,
If he
it's
didn't play for the
before he got to
Yankees-
the Yankees.
No,
If
yeah,
he
because
didn't
he
play
was
for the Yankees, though,
He was the
would
best
you
player in
recognize him
baseball
and
with the
be
Rangers.
more- Okay. If he didn't play for the Yankees, would this be this much outroar for him to get into the Hall of Fame?
maybe not the same outroar, but there is a Yankees factor that he did play for the Yankees, so it does play into it. Like the Yankees are a big organization, so you might look at them with a different outlook because someone played for the Yankees, but
Yeah, well,
that's reality of the beast.
Phil Rizzuto shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame, but he got in as a 261 hitter because he was on the Yankees. So it works both ways, does it not?
It does. It does. That's very fair.
I'm going to grab a couple more texts in here at 609-403. We love you guys engaging with us. 609-403-0970. Check your times in. It says, it's not even the tickets that I buy for the Phillies, but I bought jerseys and shirts for me and the family and spent hundreds of dollars. I would have used that money to help contribute to getting a new pitcher instead.
Would he really have, though?
I mean,
Oh, that's
hopefully,
the claim.
hopefully you didn't buy a Drew Smotley jersey or a Jason Vargas.
I can see people, a lot of people bought the Harper jerseys. They sold out pretty quick.
Yeah, but that makes sense. That's a
I have a
13-year
Harper
investment.
jersey.
Yeah, me too. That makes sense. Like, you shouldn't not. If you're a big fan and Harper comes here for 13 years, that's almost a given that you go out and get that.
I said it on these airwaves that the offseason was going to be a failure if you didn't get a Harper or a Machado. They got Harper, and then I said before the season, if you don't make the playoffs, it's going to be a failure, and I'm sticking to that. You don't make the playoffs, it's a failure. It's a failure.
Let's get one more text in here at 609-403-0970 before we hit the break. Dan from EHC chimes in and says, the Phillies are still only in it because everybody else stinks. Baseball is the Astros and everybody else.
Not everybody else, but the
New York
Astros
Yankees
are up
has
there.
had a pretty good year, and Boston's had one of the best.
Astros
offenses
are winning the
I've
World
seen in a
Series.
while.
Book it. I agree with the text.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's not
It's like saying
Astros
that
and
Floyd
everyone else.
It's not saying Floyd Mayweather is not going to lose. I mean, I know that. I mean, you want to tell me something I don't know about baseball?
Like,
Wow,
if
Floyd Mayweather could pick his opponents.
Don't make this into you trying to sneak shots at Floyd Mayweather.
I sneak shots at everybody. You know that.
I do know that. That's why I don't like you.
That's actually the reason why you do like me. 609-403-0973. He's Dashawn Hendricks. Along to my left is Hunter Brody. I'm Josh Hennig. We're hanging out with you in the Matt Black Kia studios till 6 o'clock today. We'll be talking more Phillies with Frank Close coming up. Dak Prescott has finally ticked me off.
Finally, he did nothing else to tick you off.
No, he hasn't.
But he's not a
'Cause
person that would genuinely.
Well, he's a stand-up
piss you
citizen.
off.
You
Right.
know, he's not some scumbag or something.
Just because he's the Dallas Cowboys quarterback doesn't make you sick enough.
No, doesn't at all.
I like that.
Because the Cowboys haven't won anything in about 20 years, so who cares?
Ooh, shots fired.
Dak Prescott, according to reports, turned down a contract from the Cowboys that would have paid him roughly around $30 million per year. The reports are, depending on who you want to believe, that he wants to be paid what they're calling Carson Wentz money. Outside of Dak Prescott playing more games, Carson Wentz, is there anything legitimately he does better than Carson Wentz? I mean, let's be realistic. Why does this guy think whether it's specifically him or his agents, that he should get so much money. I don't think he's worth it. Look, I get it. He's played more games than Wentz. Big whoop. Carson Wentz still averages 13 games a year. It's not like Wentz has missed multiple full seasons. Like Andrew Luck missed an entire season and change. Carson Wentz hasn't done that. Dak Prescott, I get it. You stabilized the franchise. You stepped in and saved the franchise with no hope when Tony Romo went down. You've been a stabilizing force. You've been consistent. But the problem in Dallas is they got to pay 3 guys. And in a salary cap world, it's going to be hard to max out Dak, Zeke, and give Amari Cooper a fair market value. One of these guys is not going to get paid what they want. And we all know what happens when guys don't get what they want, when egos are involved. Something is going to rock the boat.
Let me start by saying that the numbers do favor Dak. He's 3-1 against Wentz. He has a higher winning percentage. He has a higher total QBR. He has less interceptions. When you look at the 2 quarterbacks, you have Carson Wentz, who was the number 2 overall pick in his draft class.
Yes.
He was a guy that was drafted to be the franchise quarterback. And I feel like that so far he has given you enough on the field to validate his money. His first season, he started out 3-0. Yes, he did have some rocky games, and you can argue that they lost, whether it be coaching, whether it be his rookie season, he finished 7-9. That could easily been 9-7, 10-6. A couple things roll his way. Dak Prescott, on the other hand, had a tremendous rookie season, albeit he stepped in for injury. He had a great offensive line.
Great running back.
Ezekiel Elliott. I will get to. He had a great running back. Defense played well enough. His team had one of those special years. You know, those 13-3 seasons that you see every couple. They had a special year. Year 2, everybody starts to figure you out a little bit more. More pressure is on. Carson Wentz delivered an MVP type of season. If he did not get hurt, I'm very confident that he'd have been named league MVP. And I'm still confident that the Eagles win that Super Bowl. Dak Prescott had Ezekiel Elliott missing for a couple games. He comes back down to earth, turns the football over, loses games in a row, misses the postseason. We go to year 3. Now, you kind of start to figure out who you are. Dak Prescott was on the verge of missing the playoffs again. Now, Dallas did get hot at the end of the year, but the defense was one of the best I've seen in a while.
Agreed.
Ezekiel Elliott was still Ezekiel Elliott. Amari Cooper stepped up his level of play. All that helped Dak, and he made the postseason and won a playoff game. Carson Wentz, coming off an ACL. Things didn't go his way. Nick Foles comes in. Carson Wentz is a better quarterback than Dak Prescott. Not because of what has been shown on the field as far as team success, but just I look at both of them, the mechanics, the arm, the thing like that. Let me cap this all off. If you're going to sit here and tell me that Dak Prescott is better than Carson Wentz, don't give me the team success. Give me what you see on the field. If you put Dak Prescott with the Philadelphia Eagles, do they've had the same success they've had?
No.
If you put Carson Wentz on the Dallas Cowboys, you tell me how many championships they have.
By the way, you mentioned the stats. Here is both quarterbacks through their first 40 games. Through just the 40 games both have played, their first 40. Carson Wentz is 23-17. Dak Prescott is 25-15. Dak Prescott has 55 touchdowns, 22 interceptions. Carson Wentz has 70 touchdowns and 28 interceptions. Excuse me. Carson Wentz has a 63.7 completion percentage. Dak Prescott has a 64.76 completion percentage. So through their first 40 games, their stats are pretty even. It's not like Dak is that much better or statistically than Wentz just because he happened to play more games.
Here's the problem, though. Him turning down $30 million to fight for that $40 million, it's unacceptable, really, because you have Jerry Jones in there. And listen, from an Eagles perspective, I want them to do this because it's going to put them in salary cap hell. But from an organizational standpoint, if I'm the Dallas Cowboys and if I'm Dak Prescott, to I understand it's all about getting paid and getting your own, but if you want to build something serious and you have someone like Jerry Jones as your GM who's just going to write the check and not know anything about internally how it's supposed to work, you're going to put your team in a tough position. And from a Cowboys perspective, you can't just let a quarterback walk, so you also have your hands tied behind your back. So they're in a really tough spot to begin with. But to demand $40 million when you get offered $30, it's ridiculous.
Well, I do want to say one thing about that specifically, and then D, I want you to jump back in. That report of $40 million has been denounced by a lot of other insiders. That's why I don't want to give an exact number.
Wonder what he's doing, though, because it seems like he's not the person that people would pick on to that degree unless something was seriously wrong.
He's taking practice a little too seriously.
Okay, that's fine with me.
And other guys don't like it. And for him, he feels like, and he's kind of insinuated this, but he hasn't fully said it because, he doesn't want to embarrass anybody, but he feels like he has something to prove. Because he went to Washington State, a school that's not like a powerhouse like an Alabama or something. He was arguably the best offensive lineman in the country, but yet he was on a team that never ran the ball. So I think there's a part of him that says, I want to run the ball. And you saw it in the preseason game 1. You saw it when he just annihilated Jonathan Cyprien in practice. And when he's shoving and pushing Derek Barnett after the whistle, he's taking it seriously, and I like it.
Oh, I definitely like it a lot. What about the emotional side of it, though, to the point where he's crying to Doug Peterson and Howie Roseman because he's a little upset about it?
Dick Vermeil cried. Everybody cries.
Now, listen,
it's all good. I don't give a darn.
I'm not knocking him. I just know coming into this thing, one argument with him is just a little soft.
I'd rather him be too emotional and I don't have to reel it back than him be some boring dude who's like, I'm
no, we're not even going to even attempt to try to sugarcoat this. He shouldn't be crying.
He probably should.
I don't care.
Getting in the fights with other grown men. Handle your business. Shake
I don't
hands,
care
and
if
get
he's
back
crying.
to work.
Let him be emotional. I'd rather him be emotional.
I mean, he's a rookie. He's a pup. So I mean, I don't expect anything different. But I'm just saying that clean that up.
He shouldn't be crying, but it doesn't bother me that he is. But let's be real. Come on, you dap it up. You figure it out.
And they did.
Yeah, you're right.
Him and Derek shook about it and talked about it afterward. Him and Cyprien, made good. It's not like he's out there starting grudges with. It's not like he's Bill Romanowski back in the day and attacking people. Just
move on.
I'm a fan of it. I like a little emotion.
Oh yeah, listen. I fought in every camp. Basketball, football. I've had a fight in every camp. There's always some punk or some kid that wants to run his mouth or show us up. And listen, we're all competitors. So at the end of the day, if someone says that, your grandma could tackle better than that, your grandma could throw a better pass than that, my first reaction is I'm putting him on as, and that's just human nature.
Can you put a bookmark, and we'll get back to this later. I've never been in a basketball fight.
Okay, yeah.
So
we'll get
for
to that
later in the
I will
show,
tell you
I want to
about-
hear
yeah.
this basketball fight because basketball is the one sport that people looked at me and they just were like, I'm not doing that with you.
Stay tuned for later in the show because I got a perfect story that
Thank you. I'm
will
looking
all
forward to
love.
that.
Yes.
609-403-0973. Also, I'm the guy who, was an MMA guy, and Hunter thinks it's hilarious that, I would do that. So.
Yeah, just my mindset is people who do UFC, with all due respect, I could never personally do it because I think it's nuts.
And you're the one who played hockey.
Yeah, but that's different. I'm not in the cage punching people in the face and getting kicked in the face. And
Yeah.
I respect it because I would never do it. But God bless you for getting in that octagon. That's all.
Yeah, I mean, I got kicked out of boxing because we were doing, the pre-sparring and the guy hit me in the face. And then after they told us to, hit gloves because we were done, he took a little cheap shot. I said, the hell with this. I took off my gloves and punched him in his mouth and slammed him on the mat. Yeah, I was done. So I can't do it just off the fact that if someone's trying to hurt me like that in a combat, I'm a street fighter. I'm not one of those guys that, we're going to play by the rules. If we're trying to hurt each other, I'm trying to hurt you.
Good to know. In
Yes.
case I say something that he doesn't agree with on the air and you don't hear me anymore for a couple 10 minutes,
609-403-0973. We were talking at the end of last hour about the Dak Prescott situation. We have a texter who chimed in and said, Dak turning down $30 million because he wants more is insane, and it shows he's taking advantage of the fact that Jerry Jones has no other option at quarterback. If that team doesn't have the money for Zeke and the O-line, they aren't anything special other than having a top 5 defense. I agree with that 100%. Look, and Dashawn's been critical of me for taking this position. I am a strong believer in the fact that a quarterback is only as good as the team around him. There's only a handful of dudes who can elevate. Unless your name is Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers and dudes like that. Dak is not elevating anybody. Like Pat Mahomes, you see him, okay, that dude's special, right? You see a little bit of flash. You see a little bit of something. Dak has never shown me that this dude can be on that Aaron Rodgers level. He's a good quarterback. He's not a bad, I'm not saying he's a bum, but the fact that these guys don't always appreciate the fact that, look, I want you to get paid, Hunter, like Hunter and Dashawn. If you guys are both on a team and you guys are up for contract, I want you both to get paid. But you both also understand that if everyone doesn't get paid, the team is worse, which hurts you and your productivity.
Well, hold on. If I'm the quarterback and he's the running back, I need to get paid more, and I need to get paid first because I'm the franchise.
But why?
That guy's replaceable. I'm not.
Not in Dallas.
I'm not. Well, I mean, we're not talking about Dallas. I'm just saying.
I'm talking about specifically.
And I love you, Hunter. No problem. But I'm just saying, like, this is life. This is listen. I'm a quarterback. I'm one of the. If I'm a first round pick, especially, and I'm the guy that's supposed to be the franchise. I'm gonna get paid, and I think you know that. You may hate that, but that's your problem.
But Dashawn, isn't part of the problem in Dallas the fact that the Cowboys have been totally not straightforward about who really the man is?
Yes, that is definitely the problem in Dallas.
You have Jerry Jones crying over Zeke left and right, but now he's all of a sudden like, oh, we'll be fine. Well, which is it? Is Zeke your guy? Is he not your guy? You know, Dak Prescott was a 4th round pick. He stepped in for Tony Romo. The Texans right. Who else are they going to get? I mean, for goodness sake, you got Kellen Moore as your offensive coordinator. I mean, the organization is just backwards. So at some point, you know, isn't part of the problem that you have two guys who are fighting for alpha supremacy, and the organization is not telling either one of them who's top dog?
The letter of the law in the NFL is the quarterback's the guy. I mean, the problem is Dak hasn't shown that he has that type of it where he takes over a game and throws for 5 touchdowns where Zeke's having a bad game. Or see, people talk about Carson Wentz. I've seen Carson Wentz play well when the offensive line has struggled.
Yes.
Or when the receivers weren't as good, or et cetera. Like, I've seen Carson Wentz raise his level of play. We talk about the Super Bowl year. That team wasn't expected to go 13-3. But Carson Wentz rose his level of play.
He elevated.
Which made Nelson Aguilar have a great season. Alshon Jeffrey all of a sudden looked like first couple years of Alshon Jeffrey. Yep. Zach Ertz is all of a sudden a Pro Bowl type of tight end. Not that he wasn't good before, but it meant
next
more.
Level.
Exactly. Brent Selig was all of a sudden relevant again. Darren Sproles all of a sudden looks like he's the ultimate weapon again. I mean, the list goes on. I haven't seen that from Dak Prescott. Fair or not, that's just what I'm talking about.
This is how I would approach the situation. While I do agree that Dak Prescott is more replaceable than Zeke for this specific situation, the quarterback position is so hard to find. So to just get rid of Dak Prescott and to go out and try and find something new and something serviceable in that position with the type of roster they have, I don't know if that's the right route to go. So what I would do, and it's not the easiest thing in the world to do, but I would give Dak his money. He would be my quarterback moving forward, and I would trade Zeke. And get a ton of assets. A ton of assets. That's how I would do it.
Whoa.
Yeah.
So whoa. While I see your reasoning, I agree with the point that if you don't pay Dak, you're basically saying this guy isn't good enough, so you can't trade him because you're basically telling the league we don't believe in him. This guy isn't good enough. We made a mistake in the draft. We need another quarterback. You're only getting one if you're picking in the first 2, so you're basically, what are you going to tank? Your team's not that bad.
That's my point.
So you have to pay him. If Zeke doesn't understand that, like, this is how the NFL works. The quarterback gets the $100 million plus contract, not the running back. The quarterback does, or the defensive lineman. That's just how this league works. And now, I mean, we're seeing some receivers get it, but never the running back. So if you're Zeke and you don't understand that, what team are you going to go to that's going to make you, like, you see what happened with Le'Veon Bell?
That's exactly what it's going to be.
He's a great running back, but he's not getting $100 million. Like, that's not happening. So who are you going to go to that's going to pay you that money? The CFL?
There will be a team that spends more than maybe Dallas wants to. For a team that
has a rookie quarterback or something, they can afford to wait. But, I mean, he's in a perfect situation where he's at, in Dallas, where he has a chance to compete. The team has catered to him as far as the offense. He's comfortable. He doesn't have to learn a new system. If he doesn't play this year and has to get moved next year, and he goes to, let's say Dallas sends him to the Bills or somebody like that, I mean, are you doing yourself a disservice with that? I mean, I don't understand that.
That actually might be a good deal if you can get LaShawn McCoy in return.
LaShawn McCoy next year at age, what, 35?
No, this year.
For Dallas?
Yeah. He's got at least 2 good more years left in him.
I'm telling you, moving on from Zeke might be
what
a
else
good
are you getting,
move from
Because
Dallas.
you're not just trading. I love Shady. Don't get me wrong.
Draft picks.
It would be a ton of
what
draft
type
picks.
of draft picks? First-round picks? 2?
Well, yeah, look at what Khalil Mack went for. So Zeke is to that level of a big boom when it comes to a trade. So realistically, you're going to get something similar to what Khalil Mack went for. A haul. So if I'm Dallas, I would look at that.
Yeah, but Khalil Mack is a defensive end, and running backs, the league doesn't value them like that. Dallas realistically believes that if Alfred Morris looked like Alfred Morris in 2012, which isn't nowhere near where Zeke looked like in his career, no, all due respect to Alfred Morris, that they still have a chance, and I don't buy that. But that's what Dallas thinks. The league doesn't value the running back position. Alvin Kamara is a star, and he wasn't a first-round pick.
3rd round.
Miles Sanders, that's all you talk about in the Eagles camp is where Miles Sanders could be this. He's Shady McCoy 2.0. You drafted him in the 2nd round.
By the way, McCoy was drafted in the 2nd round.
Okay, Josh. Thank you.
No, I'm just emphasizing.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying that you're piggybacking on my point that the league doesn't value running backs the same way. Kareem Hunt, he wasn't a first-round pick.
Well, here's the difference between Kamara and Zeke Elliott is Kamara does a great job at actually running routes as well, and Zeke is great at being out of the backfield, but he's more with the swing passes than so much running routes. So Kamara kind of has like an asterisk next to his name because he adds a different element to the point of like almost a receiver too.
Remember,
not that Zeke can't catch the ball, but
who remembers before the trade up to number 2 when the Eagles were mocked to take Zeke Elliott at like 7 or 8?
I remember
a couple years ago. Remember that?
Yeah.
Listen, at the end of the day, Dallas has 3 guys that they love that they are going to have to pay. And I'm sorry. If this continues, they might only be able to pay 2 of them.
609-403-0970. A couple of texts coming in here. People agreeing and disagreeing with what we're talking about. We got Brady from Dover, Delaware chimes in. Says, Dak is replaceable. Make your money, take care of your family. But at least be reasonable. Look, I don't think it's unreasonable to ask for more money. Like, you should always ask for more, right? But I think that at the same time, the texter's got a point. It's not like Dak's a super elite quarterback. He is replaceable. Like, to me, it's not like if you put... Is there really any quarterback in this league that is that much worse than Dak?
Peterman.
Starting quarterback.
Ned Benham is the worst quarterback I've ever seen in the NFL.
Starting
and
quarterback.
I watched Rex Grossman play for years.
Is there a worse starting quarterback?
Like, it's not like Dak is so much better than the field.
Well, Dak is
like if you swapped Marcus Mariota and Dak, it's not like Mariota is going to make them a losing football team.
I would think Dak is better than Mariota. I would take Dak over Mariota.
Okay, let's slow down. Let's slow down.
Maybe not by an elite
let's
stretch,
slow down.
but I would.
think that first of all, I have a problem with the Mark, and I heard Mike Gill the other day. I have a problem with the Marcus Mariota rip train that's just been going on. Marcus Mariota has not shown to be a superstar yet, but you got to be fair. The teams that he's played on, if you put Marcus Mariota on the Dallas Cowboys, granted with an offensive mind, that's people forget that this is the new wave with these quarterbacks. Jared Goff stinks with Jeff Fisher. He's good with Sean McVay. Carson Wentz is good with Doug Peterson. Pat Mahomes, Andy Reid. People think that Kyler Murray's going to be good. They're going to tie that back to Cliff Kingsbury. You see what I mean? Like, these guys have these coaches that
put them in a position to be successful.
Yes.
I think Mike Vrabel's a good coach, though. I don't think he's a bad
but
coach.
remember, he didn't have Mike
Vrabel.
Guy. He didn't have Vrabel the whole time. There was somebody else there before.
Very true.
And there were a lot of criticism that it was Munchak.
And then Wizenhunt was there before then, right?
What's that?
Wizenhunt was there first, right?
Yes.
And then it was Munchak.
And the problem
none of those guys are offensive guys.
But it's not even that. It's the staff that they had. People were very critical of them. People were very critical. You could be a defensive-minded coach like Dan Quinn, but bring in high-level offensive coaches like Kyle Shanahan. The problem is with the Cowboys, Jason Garrett and with the Titans, Mike Munchak don't hire elite offensive coaches. They hire mediocre ones.
So then you can argue that Dak's even better than he is because he's doing this with a horrendous coach and a horrendous staff.
Yeah, but here's the thing.
But he has
Dak
good
is a better
team.
team.
He does have a good team.
He has a great offensive line, the
yes.
running back, the receivers, like his defense. Like if you put any mediocre, and I'm not trying to diminish what Dak's done because Dak is a good quarterback. I just think that the team he's on
My whole point
makes
is,
him look better than he is.
And I'm with Brady from Delaware. To me, I just don't feel like there's this huge gap between him and other quarterbacks.
But I disagree with you. You just don't replace your quarterback. Like they can't just
Correct.
say, "Well, we'll cut Dak today and we'll still be a contending team." No, because you're not signing. Even with Colin Kaepernick, like you're not signing Colin Kaepernick today and thinking that he's going to come in and you're going to sell the same expectations. No, so Dak's not replaceable. He's just not worth $40 million a year. I don't think that he's earned that type of equity to demand that type of money.
Well, if he was to sign that $30 million and there was no statement coming out that he declined it, we would all go, "Oh, okay, wow, like that's good." So that's why for him to decline it, it's just it's odd. It's odd, don't you think? Like if he just signed, if we found out breaking news, Dak Prescott signs for $30 million a year, what would your reaction be without any rumors that he denied it?
Well, good for him.
Yeah, exactly.
It was a Cowboys bet, but I don't think that it's crazy that he denied it because he's betting on himself. Like if he goes out this year and the Cowboys win a Super Bowl, everyone's going to say, "Well, pay him $40+ million. Play him $45 million a year. He won the Super Bowl. He led them to a Super Bowl." Like he's betting on himself, whether that's right or wrong.
By how much more money though? By $5 million a year more? Like at what point is it okay? Let me just take the 30 rather than I'm risking so much for an extra $3 more.
Well, no,
million.
because I feel like that he knows that he's in a position as a quarterback to where he's gonna get $100 million. Like that's already in the bank. Now can he get that $5 million more? Can he get that $10 million more? If he wins 2 more playoff games, gets to the NFC Championship game, or he gets to the Super Bowl, now at the end of the year, because remember, this is his contract year. Now at the end of the year, he's like, "Well, I did this, this, and this. Now you have to pay me for it." Now everyone's on his side. They're like, "Oh, hey, Dak Prescott won the Super Bowl. Or he got to the Super Bowl." Right now, everyone's saying, "Well, he hasn't done enough lately," but he's betting on himself. We've seen it in instances where the NBA, where guys turn down contracts because they're betting on themselves. Sometimes it doesn't work out. Isaiah Thomas and guys like that, where it doesn't work out. But Dak Prescott is basically saying, "This is what I can do for you. It's either you pay me now or I'll show you, and then you'll have to pay me." I don't think that's wise. I think personally he should have just signed the $30 million because I know what he is. But if you're him, he's not thinking that he stinks or mediocre. He thinks that he's the end-all be-all, so he's going to bet on himself.
609-403-0973. Matt from K-May Courthouse chimes in and says, "I think Dak wants more based off of draft position, not playing his rookie contract. He probably thinks he has some making up to do financially. I'm an Eagles fan, but I like Dak coming out of college. Just unfortunately ended up with the Cowboys." That's Matt from K-May Courthouse. Yes, I agree. Dak has outplayed his draft position, but it doesn't mean that you're not always in position to demand more money. You know, sometimes you have to be like, "Look, man, I'm making barely $1 million, and they're offering me $30 million. Am I really going to say no to that?" Like, I feel at some point you're negotiating against your better interests.
Sure.
And I think that's a problem for Dak. I think that, yeah, he has outplayed his contract. He has outplayed his draft position. But at some point, he's got to understand the Cowboys can't max the cap on you and keep Zeke and give Amari his money. Because at the end of the day, if those three are not all firing on all cylinders, that team is never reaching the Super Bowl.
Well, some people don't care about their teammates' money, and they just care about personally what their contract is. And as a quarterback, he does have everyone else's hands tied behind their back because you do need to pay the quarterback. So whether he fights for it or not, I mean, he does have the organization's hands tied.
I definitely think the teammates got their money, though. You seen that at Hard Knocks last week where the rookie safety, I'm forgetting his name from Virginia.
Oh, Abram?
Yeah, he's looking at Derek Carr like, "You $100 million man. Like, hey, everything's on you.
Salmon or Salmon.
Like, salmon or salmon. Like, they know the quarterback.
They know
when he's $100 million man. Yep. Listen, at the end of the day, Dallas either has to make this decision. They need to sign Dak first, get that out of the way, establish that this is the guy that we're going into the future with. And Zeke and Amari, if you guys want to be on board, then we want you here, and here's negotiations. Yep. If you don't, like if you guys think that we're signing you to bigger money than him,
You're sending mixed
then
messages.
Then you don't want to be here because that's not how we're running our organization. Like it or not, the quarterback is the guy that's leading us. And if his teammates don't believe that, that's more an indictment on Dak. Because everyone in the Eagles organization we know Wentz is the guy. He's the guy. He deserves the money. Whether it be them just doing lip service to the media or not, they've came out and said that, and they understand that. This thing with Dak, Zeke, and Amari.
609-403-0973. Mark from Ocean City chimes in, coming at me specifically. Says, Josh, Dak's won playoff games. Pay the man. He's way more deserving of big money contracts than Wentz. First of all,
playoff games.
You want to look? Here's the deal. Okay, let's have a conversation about this. Dak has not won playoff games. Quarterbacks don't win playoff games by themselves.
He won one playoff
game. Teams won playoff games. That defense, that offensive line won the playoff game. The stupidest thing we attribute to quarterbacks is this idea that, oh man, they won games. Teams win championships in the NFL, not individual players. This isn't the NBA where LeBron walks onto a team and makes them great. That doesn't happen in the NFL. Look at Phillip Rivers. The dude is the best quarterback from his draft class, arguably, but yet he's on a franchise that can't get out of their own way and can't stay healthy. That's not his fault. So don't tell me that Dak won a playoff game. No, Dak played well for a team that won a playoff game. There's a huge difference.
You are correct. But the nature of the beast here as sports fans, that's not going to change anyone's mind. Like when people think of quarterbacks, I am not going to be
compliant to the nature of the beast. I'm here to fight the beast.
Sure, you're going to lose.
I'm going to win.
You're going to lose.
I'm going to win. I'm right and the beast is wrong.
Logically,
you're going to lose.
Right.
This is a quarterback's league, whether you want to admit it or not. And Dak Prescott has won a playoff game. He has not won playoff games. You guys need to do your research. He started two. He's won one.
Don't block. The receivers don't catch.
He's 1 and 2 in the playoffs.
And the running backs can't hit the hole. Then the quarterback is useless.
And if I can't use the bathroom, then I'm not going to be able to drink for another 4 hours or eat. Listen, the bottom line is that the quarterback is the head of the snake, and he is the one that leads the troops in the battle. Whether you want to admit it or not, I know you didn't get a chance to play quarterback, Josh, and I know that you'd rather be on the other side of the football, but that doesn't mean you could diminish the quarterbacks, okay?
It was my job to hit the quarterback.
Okay, well, listen, I know that it's your job to hit the quarterback. It's not your job to try to rip the quarterback.
I'll rip whoever I want. Sports Bash here on 97.3 ESPN. But I came up with this idea last week because for those you didn't hear last week on the Sports Bash, Mike Gill put out the question, who is the greatest fictional quarterback in a movie of all time? And so I thought it would be fun for the three of us this week because Dashawn and I always love talking quarterbacks. And Hunter, you're pretty much a part of the group now, so you're stuck with us.
Yeah, that's cool.
And that the deal is that I thought it'd be fun to debate some all-time lists. Because at this time of year, let's be realistic, we're not really watching the preseason for any substantive football. We're just watching it because it's football. So let's talk about some real football. So today's quarterback topic is dual threat quarterbacks, guys who can throw and run, but guys who are so good at running that it made them throwing the ball almost an afterthought. So my personal criteria for this is this. I'm talking for my list, their career, not just one season. So like, for example, you can't judge Kyler Murray and Lamar Jackson yet because they're still young in their careers. We don't know what they're going to be in the next 5 years. I don't want to put those guys in this conversation. I don't think it's fair. I don't think it's right. We have 50 years of football to pull off of, and I'm going to about 50 years because let's be realistic. What happened in 1930 doesn't matter right now. We're talking about the Super Bowl era of the NFL. From the late 1960s to now. That's enough football to draw off of. So now that we know the criteria, gentlemen, is there any points you want to put out before we start naming names?
I just want to reiterate that this is the best, our list of quarterbacks who are dual threats. This doesn't mean these are the best quarterbacks in the league or they were the best dual threat quarterbacks. That is what we're doing. So people, if we sit here and say that Frank Tarkenton was number 3 or 1 or whatever, that doesn't mean he was the best quarterback ever alive. I know that sometimes you want to hear what you want to hear. That's not what it is. It's just a list of what we believe are the best scramblers of the Super Bowl era.
Hunter, any prerequisite thoughts you want to put out there before we start naming names?
No, I'm ready to go.
All right. So who wants to give their 1 through 5 first?
You.
Okay, I'll give them.
You wanted to. We all knew you wanted to.
Well, I was offering the floor to you guys as well. I mean, you guys are my co-hosts here.
And we gave it back.
I'm not trying to be a selfish person over here.
No.
We know that.
All right, so my number 1 dual threat quarterback of all time.
Hold on.
Oh, wait, you're going
five
number
for-
1?
Whoa. Go 5-1. Build
I
the
thought you were going to go
anticipation.
10-5, but we're going right from
I
5
could
to
go
1.
10 to
No. We'll
5.
go 5 to 1. Go ahead.
Go 5-1.
We'll go 5 to 1.
Number 5 is a guy that Dashawn actually just mentioned, Fran Tarkenton.
Okay.
The guy had 3,674 rushing yards on top of 47,000 passing yards, along with 43 rushing touchdowns, and he did it in an era where guys could kill you. So he was running legitimately for his life, and he was just as good of a passing quarterback as a scrambler. He played on teams that got to Super Bowls. He made the Giants relevant in an era where it wasn't relevant. And like I said, he legitimately was running for his life. So he's my number 5.
All right.
My number 4 is Russell Wilson. You cannot deny the fact that Russell Wilson, who averages almost 6 yards per rush, he already has almost more rushing yards in his career than Tarkenton. He actually currently has 13 less yards than Tarkenton in his career rushing-wise. And Russell Wilson has played behind some garbage offensive lines. So when he's scrambling, he's legitimately doing it because he has to. My number 3 on this list, Michael Vick. Michael Vick is arguably the most dynamic athlete to ever play quarterback in the NFL. But even though he has almost 4,000 rushing yards as a quarterback, along with 36 touchdowns, the problem with Vick is that due to the fact that he did not balance his running game always with his passing game, he got with a real offensive coordinator a little bit later in his career. It damages his overall resume.
What in the hell am I listening to? Please continue, please.
Number 2, Cam Newton. Cam Newton has the most rushing touchdowns for a quarterback in NFL history with 58. He also has 1,000 more rushing yards in his career than Michael Vick. He's also a freak, and he's a league MVP, something Michael Vick never did. Number 1, greatest dual threat quarterback of all time, is the prototype, the original, Gumby, Mr. Pliable himself. The man who still holds the NFL record for most rushing yards by a quarterback. A record that still has yet to be broken, by the way. The one and only ultimate weapon, Randall Cunningham.
I think I'm just...
Who the hell let you go first?
yeah,
What the hell? Hold on. I know that was me. I don't know what the hell I was. What is wrong with you?
A lot.
You have Michael Vick 3rd on your list.
Yeah,
Behind Cam Newton.
absolutely.
Hunter.
I know, I'm on the same page as you. I'm speechless, though. I'm speechless.
Hunter, can I hear your list, please? Because I don't know what the hell was going on the other side of the glass.
Okay.
Well, no, hold on. Tell me exactly what's wrong with my list so we can have this conversation.
Michael Vick is behind Cam Newton.
Yes, I agree. That's absurd.
That is the most
Absurd.
ridiculous thing I've heard all day.
Mike Vick is clearly the most
Michael
mobile
Vick
quarterback the league has ever seen.
Listen, no disrespect to Randall Cunningham. I'm not going because Randall Cunningham is one. Listen, I have a lot of respect for Randall Cunningham, and I'm not going to argue too much that you have him at number 1. But the fact that you have Cameron, Darrell Newton at number 2 ahead of Michael Vick, I don't give a damn if he won the MVP in 2015. Michael Vick was robbed of MVP in 2010, if you want to be technical. Because without him, the Philadelphia Eagles wouldn't have got anywhere close to a division title. Kevin Cobb was supposed to be... I don't know what the hell is wrong with you. Michael Vick, in his prime, was ultimate weapon. He was the most dangerous man with the football that I've seen. And you're talking about Cameron, Darrell Newton was better than Michael Vick?
Yeah.
At being a dual threat. He's not even better than him as a quarterback. What is wrong with you?
Okay, now you're being ridiculous.
He's a better quarterback than Michael Vick.
Cam Newton went to, a Super Bowl?
Well, he went to a Super Bowl. Michael Vick went to an NFC Championship game with Algie Crumpler being his best receiver. What is wrong with you?
Michael Vick took him till he got to Andy Reid to maximize his quarterbacking skills. Cam Newton has played with some lackluster players, and he still won a league MVP. He got to Super Bowl. He has 1,000 more rushing yards in his career than Michael Vick.
Playoff
and he's played less games than Michael Vick has. He has more rushing touchdowns. He has more
They run
passing
power at the
touchdowns.
goal line with him. You know what? I'm not doing this. You know too much football. You know too much
I do know too much football.
To
That's
be
why you need to
talking like
listen to
this.
me, and you need to stop being biased because I know you love Vic.
Bias, I love Cam Newton too, but I'm a realist, and I know what I'm looking. You know
Cam
what? You know,
Newton
I'm not doing this. I'm not
is
doing
a better quarterback than Michael Vick. This is dual threat quarterbacks, not best athletes.
609. I'm losing.
609 403
I'm losing my mind.
0973.
Please talk some sense. Hunter, please let me hear your list.
All right.
Who's your 5 through 1? I gotta hear this.
No,
By the way, can we note that Hunter's actually a little excited to do this list?
So disrespectful.
I'm excited because I can't
Just
believe
let you
what
know,
I just heard.
if you say one thing I don't like, I'm gonna rip you just as bad as Dashawn and just try to come after me.
Okay.
Without
All right.
making any
Number
really
5
good
is Cam Newton. And I love Cam Newton's game. I think his
sense.
size is something that this league hasn't seen when it comes to the quarterback position and how hard it is to take this guy down. Now, he does get beaten down a lot. Let's be real. He does have some injury problems due to the fact.
Steve Young.
Of course, right. But it is starting to affect him because of how much damage he has taken. Number 4 is Russell Wilson. And one point that you hit on that I actually loved was the fact that he's been doing this without an offensive line. Like, that cannot get looked down upon enough because he is running for his life.
You can't scratch ahead at 5.9 yards per carry. That's legit.
Number 3, I'm going Donovan McNabb. And I'm not even like this fan of Donovan McNabb. I didn't love his tenure here, and more because of the way he embraced the fan base, I guess you would say. But as a player, we all know what he brought to the table here for Philadelphia. I know he didn't bring us to finish the promised land, but he did bring us there.
Don't
Number
like
2,
him there, but go on.
Yeah, Randall Cunningham, number 2. And number 1 is obvious, Mike Vick. There is no one that affected the game the way Mike Vick
The
did
man
as a
ran
mobile
a
quarterback.
4.27 40.
But that's not the question. That's not the subject. Who is the best dual threat quarterback? Not who's
Mike
the best
Vick.
athlete.
Hold on. Did you watch the Atlanta Falcons from the year 2001 to the year 2006?
Yeah,
Their
he was
offense
better in the
Michael Vick.
video game than he was in real life.
What? What?
Yes.
Oh.
Now, Hunter,
So much
the fact that you
disrespect.
put McNabb in your top 5 list is embarrassing.
What?
Okay? McNabb is not as good of a rusher of half the guys on this list.
Did you watch Donovan McNabb from the year? I can't do this.
Was a better throwing quarterback than he was a running quarterback.
What?
Yes.
Oh my God. Michael Vick was
I'm
literally
talking
the
about
only.
McNabb. I'm talking about
The
McNabb.
hell with McNabb. We're talking about Michael
No,
Vick.
I'm
The
dealing with
disrespect-
McNabb on his list.
I'm dealing with Michael Vick with you. The
Oh, you're still
disrespect that
stuck
you
on Vick?
the disrespect that you've shown
Just
Michael
because
Vick.
you like
It's
Vick.
10 years
You're a
since
Michael
the Eagles
Vick
have
guy.
signed Michael Vick today, and the disrespect that you are giving that man, I cannot take it.
Disrespect, I have him third all time.
I can't do.
I don't think that there's anyone that honestly can compete with what Mike Vick did in the argument.
Oh, I'm sorry. So Randall Cunningham, who has more rushing yards.
He's close, but I don't think
They have
when it
almost the
comes
same number
to
of rushing touchdowns.
Mike Vick changed the game, though. It's to an extent of this.
No.
Let me finish my point. Allen Iverson can have the same numbers as somebody else, but you can't argue that he didn't change the game with his personality and swag. That's what Mike Vick did to this league. So for me, that plays a factor in why I think he's number 1 overall.
No, because you're looking at him as a dynamic athlete and not as a quarterback.
What else did he do besides play quarterback? He played quarterback, so I'm looking at him as a quarterback.
But you break down his numbers. He was not consistently an effective passer, which is something that Randall was. Also, there is no Mike Vick without Randall Cunningham.
Yeah, but that's diving into it to an
There is no
extreme. 'cause
Cam
then you
Newton without Michael Vick.
Right, exactly. Then you can say that about any player ever in any sport in the history of sports.
Let me get my list.
That's right. We forgot about your list.
Let me get my list.
I still don't like you having McNabb in top 5. That's ridiculous.
Well, then you're really not going to like me. At number 5, I have Russell Wilson. The man has a Super Bowl championship. He should have 2.
By the way, I like the fact that we all have Wilson in our top 5. So at least we
Yes.
agreed on something.
Russell Wilson is indeed one of the best. At number 4, I have Donovan McNabb.
Why?
The man, first of all, did you see his first couple years? His best receiver was Freddie Mitchell, and I love him to death. But Todd Pinkston, I don't want to catch a football. Billy, I don't know who you are, McMullen. I'm not even going to
trash. Just say it.
I'm not even going to do that to that man.
Reggie
because that man
Brown.
played for the Reggie Brown. I mean, do you want me to go on? Do you want me to go on? L.J. Smith at tight end.
Mm-hmm.
Chad Lewis. The best thing I remember about him is celebrating after a broken foot at the NFC Championship game that Michael Vick started and opposed him, by the way. He's at number 4. Number 3, I have Steve Young. Steve Young, listen, Michael Vick will tell you himself, he wanted to be Steve Young.
Okay.
Steve Young, the resume speaks for itself. Number 2, I have Randall Cunningham, the ultimate weapon. I have a lot of respect for what he did. And number 1, I have Michael Vick, the experience of a lifetime, visor, speed, and all, at number 1. Okay, I don't know what the hell is wrong with you, but I hope that you seriously give some thought to what the hell you just uttered with that list. Cam Newton ahead of Michael Vick. If you want to say Randall Cunningham, I can respect that because I have a lot of respect for Randall Cunningham. But are you going to sit there and tell me that Cam Newton is a better scrambling quarterback than Michael Vick?
He has
Are you
more,
really
he has
gonna
more
tell me
rushing
that?
yards.
I don't give a damn.
He has more rushing touchdowns.
What's Tim Tebow's numbers? I'd love to know it because then we're going to
See,
start
Tim
saying that
Tebow doesn't belong in this conversation. He did it for 1 year. He did it for 1 year. Here's the count. Tim Tebow can barely throw the ball anyway. The concept is dual threat quarterbacks, not one-dimensional stiffs.
So much disrespect. It's been 10 years since the Eagles signed Vick today, and he's just
Well, good for him.
So this one was.
It is ridiculous, though, to think that you put Cam Newton ahead.
I've never heard it. Please, the text. Somebody. I know somebody has sense out there.
Like, whether you think
What the
Randall
hell is wrong
Cunningham
with this
is better
man?
or not, Mike Vick has to be 2 on the list at this point, right? I mean, to have Cam
ahead of
Newton.
Michael Vick.
Right. And someone who's talking about longevity here, Mike Vick's career as a whole, well, obviously Cam Newton's not finished his career yet, but
you
if
gonna tell me that
longevity.
Kurt Warner is better than Tom Brady? That's what you're going to tell me next?
So Michael Vick has 13 NFL seasons on record. 13.
He had 12 and a half. That last Steelers season.
133 passing touchdowns.
11 and a half. That first Eagles season.
133 passing touchdowns. Cam Newton has fewer NFL seasons and has 182.
They run power with Newton at the
Passing touchdowns.
Weren't you the first one to say that it's a team game about 2 segments ago? Yeah, look at that smirk. Look at that smirk. Look at that smirk.
I told you about him. He likes to mix things up and use it so he can. I told you about him.
We're not talking about teams. We're talking about individual players.
I told you about him.
Yeah,
You
but you were
just don't want to
naming wins.
admit that Vick is not the greatest of all time because you love Vick and you played video games with him.
No.
You played video games with him, so you're in love.
I told you that I
You're
would
biased.
concede Michael
You
Vick
won't
to
let
Randall
go.
Cunningham. I told you I would concede that because I got a lot of respect for Randall Cunningham. I will not put Cam Newton ahead of Michael Vick. I have too much sense. You know too much football. What is wrong with you?
Yeah, and that's why I said dual threat quarterback, not greatest athlete.
He's a better dual threat quarterback than Cam Newton.
Michael Vick is not as good of a passer as Cam Newton.
Give Michael Vick Christian McCaffrey. Give him Kelvin Benjamin when he was good.
Cam had
Give him that
McCaffrey
defense.
for 1 season so
If
far.
Michael
2
Vick in his
seasons.
prime was a starting quarterback in 2015,
You
that team was
forget
a
that Vick
championship.
had thunder and lightning. He had T.J. Duckett and Warren Dunn.
Thunder and lightning. Warwick Dunn and Teach. You know what? I'm not even gonna do it.
Warwick Dunn's a borderline Hall of Famer.
Borderline Hall of. So Warwick Dunn in his prime is gonna be better than Christian McCaffrey in his prime. That's what you're telling me. That's what you're looking at me in my face and telling me.
Would you agree that Michael Vick's best season was 2011?
2011? No. I
Or
would
was
say
it
his best season is 2010.
Okay, 2010. 21 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, 3,000 passing yards.
He missed a couple games with a rib injury. Did you leave that out?
So
Did you leave that out?
compare that to Cam Newton's best
Comeback
season.
player of the year. Hold on, no, because you like to do that. You like to miss things out. He was comeback player of the year.
Oh,
that
good
team
for him. It's a
did not have
feel-good
nowhere
story.
near the talent. What? They did nowhere near the defensive talent that Carolina team had. That Carolina team had the best defense in the league.
That's not true. The Broncos had the
They
best
had the
defense in
second
the
best
league.
defense in the league. They had the best defense in the NFC.
Cam Newton's best year, he had more passing touchdowns, more passing yards.
It's a passing league now.
Is it about the best season, or I thought this was a longevity thing,
Yeah.
too, that plays a factor?
I told
so
you,
if you're
like
just
the-
looking at the one season,
No,
I feel like that's not fair.
I'm saying peak versus peak. Again, the topic is dual threat quarterback, not greatest athlete to ever play
We're
quarterback.
not, but that's not our argument. Our argument's not who the best athlete is. We believe that Mike
Isn't
Vick
a dual threat
is the best
definition
dual
of an
threat
athlete?
quarterback.
Hold
True.
on, is it a definition of an athlete? Is the dual threat? You have to be an athlete to be a dual threat? Huh?
We have to be a high-level athlete.
Well, you have to be an athlete, correct? Huh? An athlete. You got to be athletic. Got to be able to move. Can't be Peyton Manning sitting back there. You know what? I've heard so much disrespect from you today when it comes to Michael Vick.
It's because you love Vic so much.
It's not even about loving Michael Vick. I told you I would concede Randall Cunningham. I would give you that. Randall Cunningham. Listen, there's a lot of people out there that believe that Randall Cunningham is the best scrambling quarterback of all time. But Cam Newton at 2? Bleacher Report don't even have him at 2. They have him at 10. The hell is wrong
First
with
of all,
you?
Bleacher Report has him at 10. They're idiots.
Oh, but Bleacher Report are idiots. I can't do this. I can't do this.
You really think Bleacher Report is a credible NFL source?
I'm not a big Bleacher Report guy, to be honest with you. I'm definitely not a big Bleacher Report guy.
Cam Newton's not the 10th best
can't-
dual threat quarterback. That's
I can't-
ridiculous.
According to this man, I can't.
He can't handle it over here, huh?
Second best? Cam Newton?
That's
Cam
where you
Newton.
lost me, Josh. I'll be honest. That's where you lost me. It's not about Vic not being one. It's just about the fact that Cam Newton is lower than that.
Fine.
Is
How about
lower
this?
than Mike
If,
Vick. Or
if
higher,
I, if
you
I
will.
change my list to appease you guys,
Well, that's not
how
what it's about.
hold on.
That's why it's a fun
That's how
sports debate.
ridiculous it is. He's willing to change his list.
it's not ridiculous.
That's how
It's-
ridiculous it is.
No, it's understanding that you guys are vehemently disagreeing with me. So,
We just think that you're crazy.
No, I want you to put what you believe is right.
And
Like,
if
that's the
you-
point
if
of
that's what you believe, I'd advise serious help.
it. I'm not going to go that far, but that's
What
what
the
makes
hell?
this entertaining, is that it's so ridiculous to us, but that's
Cam
what you think,
Newton.
so you keep that.
by the way, my 6 through 10, number 6 is Steve Young, number 7 is Donovan McNabb, number 8 is Cordell Stewart, number 9 is Steve McNair, number 10 is John Elway. That's my top 10.
We have similar names, I feel. It's just a different order, that's all. We're not out of, we're not out of it by using ridiculous names. It's just the order that we put them in.
I was
Yeah, I
strongly
mean-
debating about putting Steve Young in the top 10. My only problem with putting Young
You didn't have Steve Young in your top 10?
top 5, I meant. Sorry.
Oh,
I have him at number 6.
I wouldn't be surprised
See,
if he wasn't there.
I have Steve at 6. I wanted to put him in the top 5. My problem was that I couldn't take Russell Wilson out. I think Russell Wilson's too good.
Absolutely. I love Russell Wilson. The way he plays the
I
game
don't think that
is
guy gets
absurd.
enough
I
credit.
had Tim Tebow at
Agreed.
9.
No, you didn't.
I put Tim Tebow.
Oh,
at
we got to
9.
Why?
rip. We got to rip him now.
Why?
What
The
the
guy
hell are
played
you
one
talking
season.
about?
He
What
was
the
a
hell
stiff.
is wrong with you?
He could barely throw. I throw better than Tim Tebow.
Tim
Hunter
Tebow-
throws better
First
than
of
Tim
all,
Tebow.
be respectful. That man won a playoff game.
Oh,
He's not.
boo-hoo.
He's not.
Trent Dilfer's
It-
got
it
a
was-
Super
it
Bowl
was a
ring.
joke. It was a joke. I just wanted to see how you would react. It was a joke. He's not really on my list.
Good grief.
Second of all, he won a playoff game. The man started the National
Trent
Football League. He
Dilfer
won
has a Super Bowl
He has a
ring.
national championship in college. Give him some respect.
Cam Newton is a national championship.
Cam Newton. We're back to Cam Newton. Have a national, but he's number 2 on the
Don't.
list.
This is not college quarterback rankings. This is NFL quarterbacks.
He's not on the list. Relax. Cordell Stewart is there. Okay.
Who's your 6 through 10?
6, I have Cam Newton.
Okay,
7, I have John Elway.
good. I like that. That's cool.
8, I have Frank Tarkenton.
Okay.
9, I have Cordell Stewart.
Mm-hmm.
And 10, I have Robert Griffin III.
So you don't have Steve McNair.
No.
Why not?
The reason RG3 is there because although it was one season, I've never seen a quarterback come into this league, not even Vick, in his rookie year and show that type of dominance as a dual threat. The guy was so good that in his first start on the road in New Orleans against the defending NFC South champions, the man looked, it was the accuracy, the speed, just The way they ran that read option offense, it was amazing to watch that whole season.
So
even after he got hurt the first time,
Yeah.
how he came back and still was productive.
So you feel like that one season
outweighs.
See, this
Okay.
is what I'll say with that. I wish
I
he
didn't get
had
too crazy. He's at 10.
No, it's
No,
fine.
his
I
1
just
year.
wanted a further explanation. That's all.
His 1 year could put him on the list. If he was able to give us a little bit more, you can argue that his name should 100% definitely be on the list.
I would say this. I don't want you to cut you off.
No, go ahead.
If he'd have stayed healthy,
You mean if Mike
he'd have been top
Shanahan
3.
didn't destroy his career?
He'd have been top 3. If he'd have stayed healthy, he'd have been top 3 by now.
I would say top 5.
I could compare it to Derrick Rose. Like, Derrick Rose in his beginning stages of his career was so good and so explosive.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
Why?
Derrick Rose had multiple seasons.
Well,
his
that's
first
my-
couple,
that's
his
my
rookie of the
point.
year, but playoffs his first year. Then his second year was an all-star. His third year MVP. Don't do that.
That's what. No, I'm saying if RG3 could have at least gave us like 4 years like that, then I would be so much easier to
put
I
him
would,
in the list.
Yes,
Okay.
it would be easier for me to put him on the list. Is where I was going with that.
What's the matter with you? What's the matter with you, Josh? Why?
I love this.
I know why you picked this segment. You want to get under my skin. That's what you want to do.
609-403-0970. Get some of the text here before we hit the break. We got a text here. Nick from Brigantine. I'll give you his 4 through 1. Okay? Number 4, Tarkenton. 3, Steve Young. 2, Randall Cunningham. 1, Michael Vick.
Smart man. I always liked him.
I love him.
It's a good texter. It's a good texter.
He has sense.
He's very logical.
We got
And the soul is gonna believe with you. Gonna believe in you.
I don't know who this guy. He says his name is CM, so I gotta take him at his word. He says, although I think Michael Vick is better, Cam hasn't had as great of an offense, while Vick had 3 studs in Philly.
See, this is something
Vick
I can't.
played one good year in 2010, 2011. He was injured 2012. It was a disaster in 2013. Nick Foles came alive. Don't do that. Please look at the track record. I see what you're saying, but look at what you had. He was the man in Atlanta. He was basically scrambling and throwing it to Algie Crumbler.
Mike K chimes in and says, you guys aren't giving enough respect to Steve McNair.
Okay.
For a top 5, though? If we were to do the top 10 list, maybe I feel like he'd be discussed more. We were only arguing, I would say, the top 3 at one point, so that's why it seemed more critical on 3 players.
Yeah, I mean, I have McNair in my top 10.
Yeah, me too.
For
I
sure.
did too.
I
Yeah.
mean, you got to respect the dudes, what he did as a scrambler, how tough he was, but I can't put him in my top 5.
Correct. I'm on the same page as you.
But you can put Cam Newton at 2.
Of course I can. Another texter chimes in, Tom from the Villas. I always love when guys put their names on the text, by the way. Tom from the Villas says, Josh, please turn off Dashawn's mic. Randall is number 1. I never saw Michael Vick drop back and punt better than an actual punter, and Randall has a better arm.
Oh, is punting a thing
what
here?
What the hell does him punting have to do with him running?
I said dual threat quarterback, not punting.
Listen, I told you I'll take Randall if you want to put Randall at 1, but I'm not taking Cam Newton ahead of Michael Vick. That's crazy.
That's the main point of this argument. The main
And why the hell
point
you got to
is
turn
that.
off my mic? I'm not the only one to put Vick at 100 did too.
Yeah, Vick at 1. It's not Vick at 1. It's not. It's Cam Newton over Mike Vick. That's just ridiculous.
One more text before we hit the break. Bill from Absecon chimes in. Bill, thanks for listening. He says, the best dual threat quarterback I've ever seen is Steve Young. The best run-first quarterback I ever saw was Michael Vick.
What do you think?
So he's got Steve Young 1, Vick 2, basically, is what he's trying to say.
I don't know if I could put him 1.
I can't put Steve Young ahead of Randall Cunningham.
See, here's the thing. I can't put Young ahead of Vick or Cunningham because
But
the
you can
thing.
put Cam Newton ahead of him.
Will you let me finish? Because Steve Young had 2 things against him. 1, Steve Young was running for his life, but he was not as athletic as Randall and Michael Vick were. Like, Vick and Randall were on another level of athleticism, which made them such great dual-threat quarterbacks. Steve Young was a great scrambling quarterback. He was a great mobile quarterback. But the thing is that when Steve Young was running, guys could still catch him. When Randall and Vick were running, dudes weren't catching them a lot of times. So I don't think it's fair to say Young is a better dual-threat quarterback. If you want to say Steve is a better passer than Michael Vick, no one's going to question that. Steve Young was a prolific passer. So maybe that's what Bill from Absecon. Bill, if you want to text back in a little clarification, 609-403-0970. We got a lot more text to get to. Again, Here's the deal. Dual threat quarterback, top 5, top 10 list. 609-403-0973. This year, Smokers Haven, Perla Del Mar, and Brickhouse have partnered to give away the ultimate man cave experience.